we are back with another Seeds of Success. I am Orly and I have Dottie here. Dottie, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Orly. I'm
I'm ex-
happy to be here today.
yeah, I'm excited for today's show. I'm excited for all the shows. We always say that, we truly are. We weren't excited for it, we wouldn't use that show topic. So, today's is there's no I in team. And I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory, I think when you run a bowling center or any business, you're going to have employees who stand out maybe a little more than others, and some who are going above and beyond. But when it comes down to it, you are a team. And today we're kind of just going to talk a little bit about how to keep your center working good as a team, and maybe things you can do to help them be a team. You know, I'm sure you've noticed when you ran a center, there's always going to be kind of little cliques between certain employees, or like, oh, that person does this, or when they work, there's always going to be a little nagging on each other. But I think sometimes that's because they've never quite worked with that person a lot, or they don't know them as a person. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to bring your employees together and let them get to know each other, so they do want to work as a team and they do want to help each other out, and they don't want to spread little rumors about people they might not quite know.
Well, and it's a more enjoyable work environment as well. When you have a cohesive team and they all know how to work together, um, it just creates a more enjoyable environment. Plus, you deliver a better you deliver a better service to your customers too, for sure. And I think that there's a number of things that we do to make sure that uh, we're encouraging teamwork, right? Uh, and a lot of it start, especially with staffing. Staffing is always an issue,
Mhm.
not just in bowling centers, but everywhere in general. Everybody is wanting to make sure that they have the right amount of staff, but also to have the right group. There's a lot to be said when you have the right people in place and that teamwork is in full action. There's a lot of synergy there, right? And
Yeah.
it's obvious. It's obvious to the customers that's walking through the door that that is a well-oiled machine. That group works together.
Yeah.
And there's again, it sets the tone for your customers that are coming through your door.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, there's going to be people that go above and beyond, and that's okay to do. But when you are going above and beyond, you don't want to do it to because you're trying to show that someone, like dragging somebody else down. You don't want to be, when I come in every week, I clean all the windows and such doesn't. Maybe help them. Maybe let them know, hey, usually when I'm here on Fridays, I clean all the windows. Do you guys usually do that during the week or the days that you're here? They might say, oh no, I didn't know I was supposed to really do that. So don't necessarily make yourself look better than somebody else. I feel like if you're that employee that goes above and beyond, like, it's going to be noticeable no matter what you do. People, us as managers or owners, we know who's working hard, so, and who's doing a little more and who does a little bit of a better job. But you don't have to do it as a thing to put somebody down. We're all one team, we're all working for the same center, we're all trying to make that center successful. So if you're just the only one doing it, that's not going to help the center be successful as a whole.
Yes, and I'm going to say something, Orly. This needs to start from the top.
Mm-hmm.
So as a manager or an owner, to be seen in the center, um, working alongside the team members, there's a lot of value in that. It's okay as a general manager or as an owner to reach down and pick something up off of the floor and go put it in the trash can instead of walking over it. You have no idea how that's perceived by the others. Or if you have to turn over lanes really quickly because you just had an event in and you've got another event getting ready to go on the lanes. That happened many times in my center. It's all hands on deck. And when I mean all hands on deck, I mean it's me down there with a broom and a dustpan, or it's me down there wiping the consoles or whatever. It doesn't matter. We are all a team and we are all going to deliver an experience, and we are all in this together to share the good and to share the bad. So, some of the jobs are not quite as glorious as others. But you know what? Somebody has to do it. And when you can, as a key employee, when you can show the team members that you're not above doing those jobs yourself, it makes them it makes that job a little bit more tolerable, right?
And some examples of, I was saying maybe we give some examples of things to bring team members together. I mean, there's nothing wrong with even asking an employee, like, is there anyone here you don't really associate with, or, that is hard to work with? There might just be some kind of miscommunication that, oh, I always thought you didn't like me because of this, or, that drama, especially if you have teenagers working in your center,
Yes.
but if there's things that you want to do to get people together and work together, I mean, you could do little team builders. You could, and let's say you're a small center, like I don't have money to take everybody out and do something big, do it right there at the bowling center. If there's a night that you're closed or maybe before hours, get together and have everybody bowl, have fun. And I think that's a good way for people to start talking. And sometimes you find out about somebody's interests that you didn't know, and you're like, oh, you have more things in common that you might think. So I think that's a big way to get people together and get them talking.
Yeah, and we as we talk with people, as we work with customers in a consultative capacity, we share with them that a lot of times employees, if you're looking for employees, a good place to start is with an employee that you have on hand that's a good employee. That makes it really easy when you start to gather employees that have a connection in some way or another, and they already have something in common. But it doesn't have to be really big what you do to bring people together as a team. And I'm going to give you a crazy example, and you've known me a long time now, right? And so I'm sure nothing that I say surprises you about things that I've done in the past, but I'm very much into making sure that you're keeping your team motivated, right? Because and enjoying where they work. And so our center was very we had a lot of very large events in our center that I had to have everybody on. I mean, they had to be on their game. And we had high expectations of how the experience that we wanted to deliver. So it was very, very important that everybody be on their A game that day, right? And so we had this little thing that we did before every single one of our events, our large events that we had coming in the center. And we did a huddle. I know it sounds crazy, but it was like a little pep rally. And I'm easily excitable. You know that. When I'm excited about something, it's hard for me to contain it, right? So I was always very excited when we had these large events coming in because it was fun for me because we got involved in that event, right? But I needed my staff to be on their A game. And so we did these little huddles ahead of time that we would talk about what we needed to make sure we were on, and, little specialties that we had to do for that particular event. And I want you guys to have a blast. We're going to have a good time tonight, right? You're going to do this and you're going to do that. And I want you to have a great time down there doing this. And we had this little huddle. And by the end of the huddle, we were all like Energizer bunnies, right? And we had a great time doing that. And when you could feel that synergy, right? And that's something simple. That's one little thing that you can do to instantly bring a team together and get people working together for that greater cause, which was number one, you need to have a good time tonight because I'm going to have a good time tonight. And if you have a good time, it's a lot easier for our guests to have an amazing time.
Yeah.
And so that's easy to do, right?
Yeah, no, very easy. So, I mean, the key here is there's no I in team. So you definitely have to be a team to keep a successful center, in my opinion, and that goes, like you mentioned, or that goes higher up with staff. You don't want, I've worked in places where one manager's like, oh yeah, you don't have to do this, but I know the other manager doesn't do it, but that manager, this, you don't want managers talking bad about each other. It's going to happen, but you want everybody, if your staff is seeing you talk bad about each other, they're going to think it's okay for them to talk bad about each other, So, yeah, I think I think this is a simple way to keep your staff, being friendly with each other. And when they're friendly with each other, they're going to be friendly with customers.
Yes, 100%. And we this is a whole nother show that we could do, but we do need to take time to ask questions to our staff members and find out, get feedback from them. If they are struggling with a particular employee and they're uncomfortable working with that employee, find that opportunity to explore that, because it could be something very simple that you could rectify with simply talking to them and bringing them together, and you as a manager working through that situation versus losing that employee because they're frustrated because they feel like an outsider, right? So communication is real important. Like I said, that's a whole nother seed, right?
Yeah, no, we try to keep these about 10 minutes. I don't know if we've ever did that before because, once we start talking, we let's give them a little insider here. I know people like behind the scenes. So Dottie and myself will schedule to start recording at a certain time, and we usually start about 40 minutes later. So and I'm starting to wonder also, when we have one-on-ones, our one-on-ones usually run late, and I'm like, she probably doesn't schedule anything right after me because we know that we always go over because we like to talk so much.
But we have very productive talk, right?
Oh, it's
We
always, yeah.
just talked about that this morning.
Very, yeah.
Yes, some of the best ideas are non-planned. So, well, listeners, we have thoroughly enjoyed sharing this with you. We hope that just bringing this top of mind to you, we know all of you are aware of this, but sometimes our seeds are simply meant to just bring things back top of mind and get you scratching your head and going, maybe I do need to spend just a few minutes thinking about this and putting it to action in my center. So we hope that we accomplish that with every single seed that we do. It truly is our pleasure to be able to bring these to you, and we hope that they're valuable for you. So spread the news. If you have employees that you think would benefit from listening to some of these seeds, make sure that you get them subscribed on one of your favorite platforms. And Orly, I've enjoyed this time today for our seed. And as always, you're the best sidekick. We have synergy between us, and we never have a loss of things to talk about. So viewers, thanks for your patience with Orly and I to be able to share what we love to share with you. And that's what we can do to help you be a little bit more successful. Until next time, thanks for joining us here on Seeds of Success.